Insta first. Hello. Hello, Michael. How are you? Good to see you.
Alrighty, good morning. Just adding Mark to the Instagram. Just give us a couple minutes, couple seconds, guys. Let the audience build up.
How you going?
Mark, let's add him in. Whoa. The king. Chad, how are you, bud? There we go. Thanks, Mark. And you in. Let's go.
How are you?
Just waiting
Hello,
for Mark
hello.
to join so I can hear, and I've got the Facebook pumping as well. Chad, you know the setup. It's great. Waiting for Mark to join in.
3,
Hold
2,
on, guys.
1.
2 seconds.
Bingo.
Mark, I can hear you.
Hi, how you going?
Good, good. Alrighty.
What are we talking about this morning, Michael Bergio?
Making an offer one-on-one. So this can appeal to making an offer on properties, buy, sell, make an offer on a car, making an offer on a boat. I find we're probably very qualified for this conversation. We're negotiating every day, thousands of hours on it. So I don't think there's the principles of negotiating for property, boats, cars, same shit. And I think the ethos is, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
It's always no. And look, an offer doesn't have to mean money either.
Yeah.
You know, it can mean sex. No, just joking. It can mean making an offer on. So let's just talk about a property. You know, it can be the you've got to find out when you're making an offer, what are the owner's expectations?
Yep.
Or just take the owner out of it. What's the seller's expectations? Why are they selling? And what are the pressure points or what are the triggers for the owner? Because if you get that right, you can actually leverage your price in your favor harder because you got the terms better. So I'll say that again, you can leverage your price harder as in pay less if you get the terms in favor of the client better. But you got to have that open communication with whoever's brokering the deal. You've got to actually ask those questions and not just assume that it's price and the price tag.
And what we mean by that is, let's just say a client has bought and they've got to settle on that property within 2 weeks. So they need to have a property sold to settle on that property. They may be very fortunate where, let's just say the purchase is a lot of cash. So 10 grand here or there will not affect their ability to go ahead with the sale. However, if they haven't got a sale, that will. So that's a clear point where price isn't the deciding factor, but the term is. So from a buyer coming in, you may be able to go in at a lower price, but a really quick settlement and secure that property, and the owner's happy because it allows them to settle on the new property. What else, Mark? What other examples?
So it's school of Wogonomics, this sort of stuff. It's just the good old basic stuff. But I reckon if you are going to be talking about purchasing something, rather than finding out what you want, because that's the obvious thing. So
well, that's what they always say. What's the cheapest price? What's the cheapest price? It's probably the worst question to ask. That should be almost a limit, like not the worst. Well, it is. You're not going to really get an answer, are you?
No,
so
it's one dimensional. It's one dimensional. It's got to be three dimensional. So of course, okay, I'm going to use a property's an obvious one. A car's an obvious one, but let's just use a car, for example, because it's much simpler. You would honestly think, okay, what do I want? You go and check if the car's got any dings on it, and then you drill out a price with the person that's selling it. but what does the person selling it want? So when you talk to the selling, what's your motivation? Oh, look, I'm selling the car because my wife's having a baby. Right. When is she having a baby? In 3 days.
Yeah.
It changes the whole dimensions of the whole negotiation. You're like, right. So you're pretty motivated to sell shit. Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So
also, you need a bigger car. I have a bigger car. Well,
I've got a bigger car. That's correct. So, it's introducing some offer 101, making offers 101 is don't just work out what you're after, work out what the seller, we call it in real estate, the vendor is after, and play on those trigger points. It'll allow you to steer away less with price. Not only that, it builds you a rapport.
Yes.
If you've got it, there's nothing worse. I've got to tell you, if you're calling and if you want to buy a car, and you call 12 dealerships and say, this is my offer, you don't even ask the guys how they are. You just ring up and say, I want to buy a VW Golf. Yes. GTI. Yes. I want to offer this price. You haven't even asked the sales rep his name. You haven't even asked the sales rep how his day is. There's no rapport built. That's even less than one-dimensional. But when you go in and kick the tires and have great dialogue and build up dialogue and ask great questions, you are going to get a better price for that product. Fact.
100%. And it came down to, we've said it on before, having those buyer meetings. It really brings that barrier. Where we see people go, where we see it go wrong is exactly that. Let's say with a property or even a car. I offer this, I offer that. Fuck, if you haven't seen the car, haven't seen the property, who's going to start negotiating with you? Seriously, it's almost, let's just say you were a serious buyer, which you may be, and they they probably are, or they may not be. What you're projecting to the seller is you're not serious, because who would do that? So I think
potentially as well. That's right.
Yeah, so you may really want it, but you just don't know how to go about it. And by just doing what a lot of people do is, what's your lowest price? Or I offer this. It's like, no, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So as I said, build that rapport with the seller. So that could be asking the questions,
or seller's
go
agent,
and meet them, or the seller's agent, whoever's really going to be conveying your position. So in real estate, it's a real estate agent conveying your position to the vendor, and vice versa. The agent's conveying the vendor's position to the buyer. So, which can sometimes be really, really great to have that. Well, I know it works really well in real estate because it's sort of, we always say, let's not create the red and the blue corner where a buyer's hammering a seller and a seller's just trying to hammer a buyer for the cheapest price and no one feels good. There's a lot of different trigger points in a negotiations that with conversation, face-to-face meetings, having a great agent be able to sort of package it together. Like shit, an agent can say, a really savvy agent will be like, well, you've just bought, they've sold. Like the time's the matter here. So instead of you saying what's the cheapest price, I'll say what's the fastest you can settle. So that's how that
qualifies you. But guys, what we're talking about this morning, if you just tuned in, is we're talking about how to buy stuff for less. We're talking about how to make an offer, and we're talking about the building a rapport, adding color to your transaction, adding color to your offer making, rather than black and white, one dimension. And we're saying that if you can do that, and if you can actually ask the questions in an offer making situation, it is a negotiation. In a negotiation, it's a bit like, probably a bad example, but say a hostage negotiation. You don't just turn around and say, "Don't jump." Or someone, or whatever. Don't shoot. It's quite obvious you've got to build that rapport, and you've got to ask questions. You've got to learn about the guys on the other end in order to make a better negotiation and a better transaction. So and often it's a bit harder because there's an agent in the middle, but that's okay because these guys are professionals of building this relationship and finding that out. But you've got to ask those questions. You just don't go in and say, "There's my offer."
Yeah, here's the key thing. Your negotiations start with your first question. Fact. So that's when the game's on. It's not you're fumbling around and then you sort of get to the, like, it's from straight away, first interaction, first question. It's almost like you only get one chance of first impression, and you really only get one chance of a seller deciding if you're a serious buyer or you're a tie kicker or you don't know your ass from your elbow. So what we're trying to do is, if you don't know your ass from your elbow, trying to give you some pointers to go in there, looking like and sounding like a serious negotiator that a seller wants to be in front of. Because let's just say they've been inundated and they got 4 or 5 buyers for anything, and you're giving all the traits of this serious negotiator or serious buyer, they're going to call you. So compared to the guy who says, "What's your lowest price?" Like, you're not going to get the call back.
And you know what?
Someone's selling a car or a boat.
As much as anyone watching doesn't like to admit it, as much as we don't like to admit it, it is a personality contest as well. Like, the personality does, what I should say is personality does come into it. Because if you are a icy real estate agent, a shit real estate agent, a real estate agent that's been in the business for too long, you don't have that bedside manner. If you don't have that bedside manner, the purchaser will opt, if they have 2 of the same things. One person's got great dialogue, the other person's got the other agent's friendly and happy and helping, the other agent's too busy, very black and white, one-dimensional. I'll just go and buy the other property as a buyer. So it works the reciprocal, guys. You've got to remember that as a buyer, you don't want to come in and be Miss Smarty Pants and I know it all and screw you because I'm just going to buy, you know. And I often hear people, and a chill goes down my spine, where they want to make money from other people's loss. They go, "Oh, I'll just wait until someone goes out of business. I want to buy a property where someone's, you know, going down. I want to wait for a market where everyone's shitting themselves and has to sell mortgage in possession." Yeah. It's not a nice thing. Do you know what I mean? Making your money off other people's losses is not a good way to do business. So I think to build rapport with your person that you're buying off, or whether it's with an agent or your agent building a rapport with your buyer, super important. Yeah. And again, it's not one dimensional. What's the price?
And also,
it's not about that.
Another thing as well, you're going to buy someone's car, buy someone's home, and you just talk shit about it. And then how the fuck do you think they're going to take an offer? They're just going to say, "Fuck you. You've just talked shit about my property, my family home for 30 years for 20 minutes, and you expect me to come graciously back with an offer?" There's a good way, and it's what you said before, the bedside manner. There is a polite way to point out, not I don't know, what do you want to call it? Defects,
the deficiencies or the deterrents in the property.
Deterrents. And there's a good way and a bad way to do it. So just like buying a car, look at buying this, going like, and seriously, if someone's just talked very smug and belittling to something, are you really going to take that offer seriously as well?
But we're not having a go at buyers, Michael. We're not having a go at buyers. This goes for real estate agents as well. It goes 100%. For real estate agents. If the agent that you're employing for rent, and this applies to rentals, it applies to any product or something. It's the salesperson or the seller or the buyer. This is a negotiation 101 and how to get the best price for a property. What we're saying is there's terms as well, there's rapport as well, and there's price, of course.
Shout out to Nathan. We got Lisa Verino on, Jeff. It's good to see you, Lisa. From Vandenberg. Good to see you all on. So this morning we're talking about just making an offer 101, buying cars, renting cars, buying property, whatever, little things that we see buyers do well, some things that we get chills down the spine when buyers do it, and we just cringe.
If everyone's got any good examples, let us know. Who else have we got online today? And does anyone have any questions or examples of what we're talking about?
Yeah. I think that's a big thing as well. Jack, ni hao.
Yao.
Good on, Jack. Yeah. I think that's a big one as well. Like, you can really politely point out the deficiencies, but like, seriously, if you've just it'd be almost like bagging out the girl, saying a girl's ugly, and then you ask her out. Like, are you really? Like, that's exactly what the analogy would be for wanting to buy something. So, and
Well,
also,
if we look at dating, let's look at dating. Dating
Yeah.
is not the kiss. Dating is everything leading up to that. Do you know what I mean? So it's.
Yep.
Do you like how cute that was? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just. There's so much more to it than
Correct.
the lead up, and that's really important these days. And I know we're in a digital age, but it's as important as it ever was, and will be as important as it
Yes.
ever will be. It is just, you know, you've got to have that. You've got to have that rapport. You've got to talk. You've got to open the agent up, or the vendor up, or the purchaser up, and you've got to find out, you know, what works for you. Because you know how I was saying that about a purchaser, about a seller, that also works for a purchaser. A purchaser will pay more for a property if you're meeting them on other terms as well.
100%. And also, what was I going to say? Forgot.
You're going to say about the chandelier, and it looks like it's night time behind me, but it's actually morning.
That's right. We're going to have a Greek background, I think, tomorrow.
Mykonos. We're going Mykonos background for Novak tomorrow. Yeah.
But I think that sort of wraps up there. The point is, the other thing was with an agent, if they're talking shit and down to another property, you go, well, they're going to talk about mine like that. So always be respectful for other agents' property, other vendors' properties, because at the end of the day, someone's going to buy that property. And if they know you're talking down to it, a lot of buyers will ask you about a property that they're looking at just to sort of get your feel. They're too afraid to ask you. They're too afraid to go, hey, I know it's not your listing, but what do you think? I really like it. And if you just talk down to it, it's like saying, back to the dating analogy, I really like this girl. What do you think? And you go, shh, no, or guy, whatever floats your boat. And they're an ugly mutt. Like, oh, okay. Well, I don't want to talk to you.
You say mutt.
Yeah.
You say mutt.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Or he's an ugly mutt.
Yeah.
As well.
Todd, yes, we're using Zoom. So if I got Zoom, we got Zoom for Facebook and Insta. So to give you a bit of background, what's going in here, I've got the audio from Zoom. That's why I keep looking to my left. And then I've got the visual that you guys are looking face. So that's why I'm always to
and then you got a lapel mic.
Oh, and also, thank you for noticing. We've got these little sound effects. Drum roll, applause.
Nah, still got no sound effects, pussycat.
No, you may not. What about Todd? Can you hear the trumpet? We get distracted easy. But yeah. As he said,
all
people
good.
Buy from people. So thanks for tuning in. This will be on podcast, so you can grab the audio. It's live. We'll be live every morning. Let us know if you want us to talk about a topic. Any
other observations before we close up, Michael, on your daily real estate activities? I reckon interest rates are going to come down again. I reckon interest rates are going to come down again. I reckon the properties.
Oh, we got no trumpet. This is crazy. All right. Yeah. Todd, you got to have to tune in tomorrow, and we'll get the drum roll and the trumpet working. I don't want to mess with it.
It's very sensitive, guys. Each time we try to improve, we break something.
Yeah, like Mark, to give you an idea, Mark wanted to change the background to the date. I said no. We've got it running. I wanted
Mykonos background today on my Zoom, and I was banished.
Renew it after.
But you got to break it to fix it. Come on.
Correct. The big change we did this morning was we moved the camera down so you can have my hand movements. I just wasn't happy with yesterday. That I was just passionate, and you just couldn't see shit.
You look like a little bowling ball on the bottom of the screen in Zoom yesterday, and you'd just go like that at the bottom.
All righty, we'll stop rambling on. Everyone, good luck for work. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be talking about another topic. Thank you very much.
Days. I'll put my seatbelt back on.
Yeah. Cheers, boys. Cheers.
See you guys.